The Nigrescence model, theorized by William Cross in 1971, has been a key framework for understanding Black identity and the psychological effects that decades of oppression and discrimination has had on the mental health of Black men and women. Cross built his work from the research conducted by several prominent Black psychologists that came before him. The theory predicts qualitative differences in behavior over time. In essence, the theory is supposed to help people understand the process of accepting and becoming Black. Cross stated that every Black American must undergo these stages of development in order to obtain a healthy and balanced experience and to become a well-rounded member of our global society. It helps Black people to become aware of the historical ramifications about what being Black really means and allows them to put positive thoughts into action. The theory originally had 5 stages. Those stages are pre-encounter, encounter, immersion/immersion, internalization, and finally internalization/commitment. In 1991, Cross revisited the model and shortened it to only 4 stages. He combined the commitment and internalization stages into just one. Cross stated commitment occurs simultaneously with internalization, and it did not need to repeat in the model, but that further research down the road will provide a more differential look at the two as times changed. Cross also revised the pre-encounter stage in his 1991 model. He felt that there needed to be a distinction between Black people with negative racial salience and Black people with low racial salience. Negative racial salience entails miseducation and a self-hatred of Black people and the Black community, while low racial salience means that the person has a strong orientation to the group aspect of being Black, but lacks the individual aspects of it. Cross stated that the education system in America was a big factor for these self-hating and self-loathing children in America's youth. History would be distorted to better fit the white narrative, and young Black students who were easily impressionable would take this to heart and associate being Black with negativity, as their teachers and peers constantly told them this. They may even take on a pro-white and anti-Black attitude if circumstances are that extreme. People in this stage are linked to low self-esteem, depression, and aggressive social attitudes. After pre-encounter, the encounter stage occurs. This is when a life-altering event or large-scale social phenomena sparks a change in mindset for an individual. It forces them to internalize hate and discrimination that they have endured and totally shatter their previous way of thinking. They view the world from a new lens and scope. Cross said that the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1968 was a defining moment for him personally. That, coupled with all the social movements occurring at the time, inspired him to work on his Nigrescence model to better understand the effects of the racial tension occurring in the U.S. After encounter occurs, the individual begins to internalize those feelings, and this leads to stage 3, immersion/immersion. This stage is the most sensational, as it is the building of a new, revitalized identity for that individual. They may divulge themselves in several aspects of Black culture that they previously had not, such as clothing, food, religion, music, arts, dance, jewelry, and many more. People on the stage have a sense of rage both at the white community and its culture, but at themselves for allowing themselves to fall victim to its deceit. They have committed themselves to change, but have not yet fully changed in this stage. It is a sort of paradox that Cross points out in 1991. Conversion is that while rebelling against the larger society, the new convert may willingly conform to the demands of Black organizations. What is meant by this is that they completely give up hope in the institutions of the American and white community, and they embrace Black organizations that may go against the grain. All negative stereotypes that they previously held about themselves and their culture are thrown out the window, and they embrace every aspect of being Black. The final stage, or stages, is the internalization and commitment stage. In these combined stages, an individual begins to lessen their hatred for the white community. They have accepted their Black identity and who they are. It is no longer in the background or on the back burners, as they are able to embrace other aspects of their identity while still being comfortable in Black. In his revised model, Cross linked 3 distinct paths that individuals may take upon entering the final stage. They may be Black nationalists, biculturalists, or multiculturalists. Black nationalism refers to individuals who become enthralled with helping and supporting other members of the Black community, usually the youth. They understand how children feel because they were once in their shoes, and they want to show them that being Black is something that should be celebrated. Biculturalists may embrace being Black and American, while multiculturalists embrace a plethora of identities to encompass who they are. This stage is about acceptance of one's self. The Nigrescence model has been a key factor in the understanding of black development. Cross and his colleagues studied the education system as well as social impacts that discrimination and prejudice played on the development of young black people and their identities. The model is still up for revision as times change and more research comes into the woodwork, but for now, this historical model has been very helpful in understanding the identities and psyches of black youth.